Streaming. Can you hear me?
So are we live, sir?
Yep, live.
All right, Chairman, we are ready to go.
Okay, thank you, Deanna. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the September 16th, 2020 meeting of the North Carolina State Board of Education. I'm Eric Davis, Chair of the Board, and I call this meeting to order. A note for all listening that a quorum is 7 members, which was confirmed prior to the start of this meeting. I now ask for a motion to approve the September 16th, 2020 agenda, amending the order of conducting closed at the end of the meeting and adding one new item of new business. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. This is Ms. Camnitz.
And I'll
Motion
second
by
it, Donna
Ms. Camden.
Rogers.
And second by President Donna Rogers. Dr. Townsend Smith, will you call the roll to capture the vote?
Yes, sir. Dr. Oxendine,
Yes.
Ms. Camnitz,
Yes.
Mr. Keenan,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Dr. Tipton Rogers,
Yes.
Ms. White, Mr. Ford,
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Duncan,
Yes.
Chair Davis,
Yes.
it's unanimous.
And motion carries. We have an agenda. Board members are reminded that it's our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of this board. Does any member of the board know of any conflict of interest or any appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before us at this meeting? If so, please state them for the record. If during the course of the meeting you become aware of an actual or apparent conflict of interest, please bring the matter to the attention of the chair. It will then be your duty to abstain from participating in discussion on the matter and from voting on the matter. I note for the record that the board will take a roll call vote on all items requiring action on the agenda at the end of our meeting. We'll now proceed directly to our agenda items, and I recognize Mr. Tom Zyko, General Counsel, for the first item. Mr. Zyko. Mr. Zyko.
Give me 1 second, Chairman. I'm seeing if he's having some issues.
Okay.
All right, Chairman, I have Mr. Zyko here.
Mr. Chairman, sorry about that. I was having technical problems.
Not a problem. Mr. Zyko, can you report on the first item on our agenda?
First item being a rules repeal, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, as you know, last May, we submitted 16 rules to the Rules Review Commission. And as a result of the reviews that have occurred since those rules were submitted, they've brought to my attention a bunch of circumstances where the proposed rule either merely repeats the content of an existing statute, rule, or federal regulation and cannot be a rule under the Administrative Procedures Act, or only concerns the internal management of the State Board of Education and the Department of Public Instruction. And that also cannot be a rule under the Administrative Procedures Act, or the proposed rule substantially duplicates an existing rule in the Administrative Code, and that rule in the Administrative Code has to be repealed before the Rules Review Commission can approve the proposed rule. So to correct those errors and to support the efforts to secure the Rules Review Commission approval of the State Board's proposed rules, I'm proposing that the State Board take the actions in the attached list. I'm proposing the board take those actions on first reading because the proposed rules are currently pending before the Rules Review Commission on their September 17th calendar tomorrow. And the State Board's actions will expedite the review of the proposed rules. DPI staff has done a tremendous amount of work to respond to all of the requests for technical changes that the Rules Review Commission staff have suggested. We expect to get approval of a significant number of rules tomorrow, but there'll be work to do afterwards because the Rules Review Commission will object to many of the rules we have pending. After tomorrow's meeting, I'll continue to work with the DPI staff to address the Rules Review Commission staff opinions and the Rule Review Commission's objections in order to secure approval of as many of the additional rules as possible. If there are any questions, Mr. Chair, I can attempt to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Zyko. Any questions from my colleagues for our General Counsel? Very well, then this will be an action item that we'll vote on in just a few minutes. Thank you, Mr. Zyko. The second
Mr.
item.
Chair,
Yes.
I believe it's be possible to simplify matters because the spreadsheet has been published to simply take the actions indicated on the spreadsheet. I don't think it requires a separate motion on every rule.
Yes, we will vote on it as a single motion.
Right.
Very well. Anything else on that, Mr. Zyko?
Not on that one, Mr. Chair.
Okay, then we'll move to the second item, which also involves you, Mr. Zyko, and that has to do with the AAC contract. Do you mind presenting that item?
Right. Mr. Chair and members of the board, you'll recall that for the last couple months, we've been working with the Innovative School District and Achievement for All Children, who is the innovative school operator, to make it possible for ISD or the state board to take over the school. You considered a proposal last month, and this month, in the last few weeks, we've been able to reach an accommodation with AAC and determine the amount of money that would be due them on the contract, and for them and the state board to amicably dissolve the relationship and to move forward. The document you have before you was the contract that got executed as an effort to end the agreement with AAC, and it's being proposed for you to, well, I'm reporting it out, being proposed for you to enter it into the minutes and to ratify it as the board's agreement. Any questions on that, Mr. Chair?
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions for Mr. Zyko on this matter? Very good. Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Zyko. That now allows us to move forward with our voting on these two action items. I now seek a motion to approve the repeal or withdrawal of duplicate or unnecessary rules as presented in our first item, as well as to approve the termination of the AEC contract as presented. Is there a motion to that effect?
So move, Reggie Keenan.
Motion by Mr. Keenan. Is there a second?
Second, Ms. Chemnitz.
Second by Ms. Kamnitz. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, Dr. Townsend Smith, will you call the roll to capture the vote?
Yes, sir. Dr. Oxendine,
Yes.
Ms. Chemnitz,
Yes.
Mr. Keenan,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Dr. Tipton Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Ford,
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Duncan,
Yes.
Chair Davis.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay, the motion
Treasurer
carries.
Falwell.
Thank you, Board.
Treasurer Falwell, yes.
Sorry, Treasurer Falwell.
Thank you. Motion carries. So, board members, supervisors, thank you for your attention and participation today. Our final item we'll conduct in closed session. And at this point, I ask for a motion to go into closed session. And note for the audience and online listeners that following this closed session, the September 16th, 2020 meeting will adjourn immediately. Vice Chair Duncan?
Yes, I move that we go into closed session to consult with our attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public.
Motion by Vice Chair Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Olivia Oxendine.
Second by Dr. Oxendine. Dr. Townsend Smith, we call the roll to capture the vote.
Yes, sir. Dr. Oxendine,
Yes.
Ms. Chemnitz,
Yes.
Mr. Keenan,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Dr. Tipton Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Ford,
Yes.
Treasurer Falwell,
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Duncan,
Yes.
Chair Davis.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Motion carries. We now immediately enter into closed session. If you're not on the board or member participating in closed session, we'd ask you to drop from the line. And Dr. Townsend Smith, just let